wanna start in the trucking business as an owner operator, but you don't know what truck to buy to succeed, stay tuned, because I'm gonna bring you a few choices that you can buy so you can start your trucking business with the right foot. First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Jesus, better known in the trucking industry as Mr. FLD, and I want to make this video because I did a Spanish version, and it seems to help a lot of people, and quite a few people comment that they would like to see the English version. So here we are. If this video helps at least one person, it's already serving its purpose, because this channel, since I start off, it used to help you and nothing but help you out. So all these trucks that I'm gonna mention you, I've been driving for 12 years so far. I've owned quite a few trucks, and I've seen some are good, some are bad, and I'm taking my experience and some of my friends' experience too. I've seen some of my friends succeed with some trucks. I've seen a couple co-workers, friends not succeed for not buying the proper truck, and I just want to share this based on those experiences. I hope this help you, and well, let's start. Alright, so before we start, I'm gonna say that all these trucks that I'm going to mention must be, or I recommend you to buy it 2000 and below, with a 1999 engine or below, so that way you don't need ELO, and it's more comfortable for you that you're gonna start in this trucking business until you get the hang of it. So to start with, on position number 6, it's a Volvo 1999 2000 Volvo. Yeah, a Volvo. Believe it or not. Why do I recommend you a Volvo? On those years, Volvo came with a Detroit 12.7, most of them, some of them with a Cummins M14, and quite a few with Caterpillar, which are good, old, reliable engines, and they're really easy. Those engines are really reliable, easy to work on, and that's the reason why I suggest you Volvo. Back in those days, Volvo didn't have as many sensors as the new ones, so it was just a nice old style simple truck. Those are the good things. It's aerodynamic. It's they're cheap because not many people want Volvo, so that's the reason why I think it's a good choice. The bad thing about Volvo, I think they're kind of heavy. They're not as light as such as a freightliner Century, for example. That's a bad thing. Another bad thing I see is that the engine sits very far behind the firewall, like into the firewall, right underneath the cab. So they're kind of hard to work on, you know, so maybe the labor and everything is going to be a little bit pricier than other trucks. But overall, it's a good truck. Let me think what else I have to say about those trucks. Oh, very important. Some of the components, they're exclusively Volvo. Just because it's a Volvo, you know, like the wheel hubs, juke joints, jokes, connectors, quite of those things, you know, are exclusively Volvo, so the parts are kind of hard to get. So those are the bad things, but overall, I think it's a good choice. Number 5, Freightliner Classic. Why do I put Freightliner Classic in the number 5 if it's such a good truck? I'll explain to you now. For someone who's gonna start in this business, it's a big truck. It doesn't turn as good as other trucks. It's not as aerodynamic, so it burns a little bit more fuel. So that's the reason why I put it on number on number 5, because it's got quite a few things that is not good for someone who's starting in this business. You know, just imagine you being new with a big old truck like that on New York, on New Jersey, on Atlanta, New Orleans. It's really hard to turn, it's really hard to go around the city, so that's the reason why I put it on number 5. But overall, it's a good truck, it's a rigid truck, reliable, it's really easy to work on because the entire engine is exposed. You can work around the engine, you can do a lot of stuff yourself. There can be customized however you want. The sky's the limit. Those are really cool trucks, and I think if you buy one of those and you can get around with it, go around the cities with it, you get the hang of it, it's gonna be a truck that you might keep for life. It's a good truck, it's a reliable truck. They're getting pricey, guys, so that's another thing. That's another thing on the bad side, that they're getting pricey because they don't make it anymore, and people who has them, they keep them forever. So keep that in mind. But it's a good truck. On the number 4 position, International 9200, International 9400. Why do I recommend International 9400? It's a good truck. The same again, most of them came with Detroit Cummins M14 and 3406. They're aerodynamic, they're cheap. There is many of them. People don't look at them much, so that is the reason why they're cheap, but they're good, reliable truck to start with. I don't see much bad about that truck. Some of them, they only have a bunk, which it might be, you know, something that you have to consider, but overall I see it's a good truck to start with. They're kind of bouncy, they say, but overall they're rigid, they're solid. It's a good old truck to start with. The bad thing about that truck, well, the same as the Volvo, it's international, and some of the components are gonna be slightly not as hard as the Volvo, hard to get, but there is just very few, you know, AC components, maybe the radiator, you know, things about the interior, maybe the, you know, wiper motor or things like that. I mean, it's not as bad. So that's the reason why I put it on number 4 position. Number 3 position, Kenworth T600. Kenworth T600 is a good truck. It's rigid, it's solid, it's quiet, it turns really good. You can go around the cities because it turns a lot. It's comfy. Man, that's a good truck right there. I don't see much bad. It's kind of the only bad thing that I know bad about those trucks is that some of the Kenworth suspension is a bad suspension. It gives you issues, but that's a Kenworth thing. If you end up buying one of those trucks, please do a research and which rear suspension you should get, or it can be changed. It's not a big deal, but overall it's a good truck. I don't see much bad about those trucks. I've driven one. It's so quiet, man. I almost fell asleep on one of those trucks because they're so quiet, you know, compared to freightliner. But I don't see much bad about those trucks. I'm thinking that it's a good truck to start with. That's the reason why I put it on number 3. Number 2, and this number 2 I think is gonna be your number 1, and I'm gonna explain to you why. On number 2 position, I put Freightliner Century, Freightliner Columbia. I put those two together because it's literally the same truck. The only thing that changes is the hood, the front end, which is the bumper, the hood lights, etc. One of my subscribers commented the other day on the Spanish video that Columbia only came after 2001, so that's another thing that you gotta check. But let's say they say that that's true. Then let's go to Century, Freightliner Century. Why I'm putting this truck as a number 2? Because there are so many guys. They are cheap. They're really easy to get. Parts are easy to get. Everything is cheap for them. Most of them as well, 99% of them came with Detroit engine, which is the one I recommend. And it's a good truck. It's aerodynamic. The window in the front is huge, so you can see everything. You know, it's kind of comfy. The sleeper is big. The cab is big. You know, it's a really comfortable truck. Let's go to the back. The dash cracks in pieces. The dash is garbage, but everything can be purchased. Everything can be replaced. You just have to change the parts and you're good to go. They're noisy. Probably the noisiest truck there is on this list. They're noisy, but my dad has one. He insulated the floor and he made such a big difference. That's one thing that you could do. Those are the bad things about those trucks that I can think of. They bounce a lot, everything cracks, they're loud, but overall is the number 2 choice because they're cheap, they're really hard, they're really easy to work on. Well, the engine actually is kind of in the back of the firewall as well, so they're kind of hard to work on the engine. Let's keep it real. But overall, it's a good truck. What else do I have to say about those trucks? I think that's it. I don't see anything else that I should mention about those trucks. As I told you, they're cheap. They're really easy to get. So let's move to position number 1. Number 1, Freightliner FLD 120, like this one. And I'm not telling you this because I tried one. I'm telling you this because I kept this one after having quite a few trucks. It's the best truck there is out there for someone who is starting in this business. They're really solid trucks, reliable trucks, easy to work on. Most of them with Detroit or Cummins M14, but most of them have Detroit engines, so that's the reason why I think this truck is a good choice. They're kind of aerodynamic. They share the same cab as the Freightliner Classic, so they can be customized as well. They can be customized on the exterior as well, as I did with mine because I love it. I don't think there is a better truck besides the Freightliner Classic. Those are the 2 best trucks. I think that's the reason why I own 2 Classics and this one. And they're getting, I put it on number 1 position, but I told you that it could be not your number 1 choice because they're getting hard to get. Let's be honest, they're getting hard to get. They're getting pricey, but they're keeping their value. Actually, they're going up in value because they don't make it anymore. People are keeping them. People are fixing them up. By the way, if you're new to the channel, go check out the other videos that we make. We keep these trucks, we fix them up, we customize them, and we save them. So don't forget to like, subscribe if you like this kind of content too. So going back to the conversation, I think this is the number 1 choice. If you could get one, I can assure you that you might end up retiring with this truck. This is the reason why I put it in number 1. And now talking about trucks, I'm gonna tell you, whatever of those trucks you buy, make sure it's got an Eaton Fuller transmission. It doesn't matter which one. It doesn't matter if it's 9, 10, 11. I mean, there's not 11. 9, 10, 13, Super 10, 8 speed, doesn't matter. Eaton Fuller is a reliable transmission. Meritor isn't. There is some Meritor are good, some Meritor are bad. Just to be, you know, just to give you an answer on that, if it's a Meritor, If it has cables here going on the stick, go away. Bad transmission, not worth it. They don't even want to use them for anchor a boat. They're so bad. They're gonna give you stranded. I mean, go away. The only reason I would buy one truck with one of those transmissions is if you fell in love with the truck and you're planning on changing it soon as possible. That's the only reason I would buy a truck with that transmission. And as I told you, make sure that it's got a Detroit M14, Detroit 2.7, Cummins M14, and 3406E is a good choice of engine, but not for someone who is starting in this business. Unless you buy it from someone that you know, and you know the record of the engine. I'm just telling you this so I don't get deep into details. But I hope this video helps you make a good decision. I'm telling you, I recommend you this because I've seen people succeed with these trucks. If someone tells you, oh, go buy a ProStar, International ProStar, and you'll succeed, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Unfriend him on Facebook, go away. He doesn't know nothing about trucking. If there is another of your friends who told you, oh, buy a Volvo automatic, the best thing there is in the world, that guy doesn't know nothing about trucking either. Go away. So I'm telling you what I've seen it works for someone who's starting. I hope this helps you. As I told you, if this video helps at least one people, it's already serving this purpose. So that's it, guys. I think this is gonna be the end of the video. If you have any questions, don't forget to comment down below. If you have any other suggestions that we forgot to mention, also comment down below. Maybe I'll do another compilation of trucks that might be a good choice so you can start your trucking business with the right foot. I hope you like this video, something different from my channel. If you like this kind of content, comment down below. I'll be more than glad to do so I can help you succeed. As I told you, if I could do it, you could do it. And I was where you are right now, and look at me now. So I just want to share my knowledge through these years so you can be where I'm at now. Because my plan is to help other people. That's the reason why I opened this channel on YouTube, to help other people, to share my knowledge so you can succeed. And I think I'm talking too much already. So don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching. God bless you all, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.